The signs were everywhere, but now it's official, we are in a recession.
Many economists now believe this downturn will be the most severe since the recession of the early 1980s.
Home foreclosure filings were up 28% year to year.
2008 was definitely offers some lessons for the current moment, but the scale of the economic dislocation that we're undergoing right now is simply far greater.
We're seeing an unprecedented housing crisis in America. It would be catastrophic to not have a federal intervention.
20 to 28 million people could be forced from their homes by September. 20 to 28 million. Let me give you some context. That's 3 to 4 times as many people who lost their homes to foreclosure following the last financial crisis, and that took 9 years, not 2 months.
The Great Recession primarily affected mortgage holders. This crisis is likely to target renters much more directly. That's a function of the industries in which people work, where they're being laid off, people who are likely to be renters already.
The Census Bureau's data, which basically says that about 1 in 3 renters have slight or no confidence that they're going to be able to pay rent next month. 1 in 3 renters is, over 30 million people.
We know that under normal circumstances, eviction is not equally spread among the population. So we estimate that Black renters face about twice the risk of being evicted as white renters. And I think there's every reason to expect that those numbers will get worse during the crisis ahead of us.
46% of Black Americans and 46% of Latinx American renters are worried about being able to pay their rent next month. I think there's an urgent need to understand that as we think about solutions.
At the individual level, the long-term consequences are extremely serious. We know that even just being filed against for eviction, so not necessarily being evicted from your home, but just having the court process started, can be a major impediment to individuals and to families' ability to find future housing. It can do terrible things to your credit score, increase material hardship, depression, suicidal ideation. We also need to be cognizant of the consequences that it has for communities. I think we should be alarmed almost everywhere.
Well, especially alarming is that we're now seeing a confluence of increased evictions in communities with surging coronavirus cases. So, for example, in Tucson, Arizona, courts are processing 2 times as many eviction cases now as they did this time last year.
These cases are going to start to build up. We have every reason to expect that the number of cases that we'll see in the back half of 2020 and into the early months of 2021 are likely to be historically unprecedented.
In fact, in many ways, that wave has already started in places where eviction moratoriums have lifted. The need is overwhelming resources throughout the country. It's very clear that if the federal government doesn't intervene and do it soon, that we will have a tremendous wave of evictions and a spike in homelessness across the country.